Okay, this is gonna be a hard video to make, and I want to make it as good as I can make it. Yeah. So I've been dealing with ulcerative colitis since I was 11 years old. 6 weeks ago tomorrow, I had my colon removed. I never thought that would happen, because it's never been that severe for me. I've had ulcerative colitis and I've flared up before, but it's never gone to the point like what I experienced was crazy. And I still haven't fully gotten over what happened, because it was so sudden. And what I had caught on top of my ulcerative colitis flare was C.Diff. I'm not sure exactly what the first word is called, but C.Diff. They do stool samples for people with colitis. I don't know if they do the same with people with Crohn's, but 2 of the tests came back negative before I ended up before I went back to the hospital the second time. The first time I went to the hospital was in January, and they just threw prednisone at me and sent me on my way, and I was getting better. And then I think it was around February 26th I started getting sick again, but it was like really bad. Like, I couldn't get out of bed. Like I could, but it would take like a lot of effort just to get out of bed. I'd eat like a slice of toast in a day, and even that I had a hard time keeping down. And I didn't realize that's what I had, and the prednisone wasn't doing anything, which has never happened before. Usually it does take longer and longer, I find, since when I was a kid and flared up. But this time was it felt like I had like broken glass inside of my guts. That's how bad it was. And my face is very this is prednisone. This is what it does. My face is nice and fat right now. But this isn't my first time. It's not my first rodeo, but first rodeo. I don't know what else to call it. I'm so anxious talking about it. I'm still healing. I can't believe it's been 6 weeks. Actually, it feels like it's been longer than that. I haven't seen many people. I haven't really gone out. I drove for the 3rd time today just to go down to the pharmacy because it feels weird. And I guess I'll show you. But yeah, that's go away hair. That's what I'm dealing with. And to be honest, I don't know if I should get the J pouch surgery or if I'll just get over this, but it's been a lot. I don't know if I want to live like this. I mean, I know other people live with ostomy bags, but I've just been having a really hard time with it. I wasn't expecting to go into the hospital and then come out with no colon, even though I have had this for so long. So for a week, I'll try to keep this on track so I don't have to have people like, what are you talking about? So I went into the hospital, I think it was around the end of February, beginning of March. I waited a week until I went in because my doctor put me back on 40 milligrams of prednisone, and I tried that for a week. And she called my cell phone a couple days after I got my blood test done at the end of February, and she was like, I think you should go to the hospital. And I was like, why? What's wrong? And she was like, your CRP is over 100. And I think the highest my CRP has ever been before, even in a flare, was like not 100. Definitely not 100. So they checked me for toxic megacolon and C.Diff, and both came back negative when she did them, the 2 times that she did them. And the last time she did it was that time that I got my blood test. So if the blood test hadn't picked up the CRP, I probably would have just, I don't know. I don't know. I was that sick though that once I got there, they sent me straight in for an EKG, and I guess I was so dehydrated that I had a high heart rate, and yeah, usually I'd have to wait in the emergency room, but they sent me straight in this time. But I was in emergency for like 14 hours, which sucked, but I mean, at least I had like somewhere to lay. The IVs were hard to get in to me because I was so dehydrated. I still have like stuff that's from a PICC line. I don't even want to get into that, but yeah, there's like, it's not as bad as it was. It's mostly healed now, but I had like, there's a picture like bruises all underneath here and like all here. But sorry, it's hard to focus, especially with the prednisone. My mind is just everywhere. Where was I? Okay, so yeah, I got the EKG. I was in the emergency for 14 hours. So they did the same old thing with me. They still didn't do another test for C.Diff until probably halfway through me waiting 14 hours. And I still never heard anything about that. So I was just assuming that it was another colitis flare. It just was like the worst one I've ever had, the most painful one I've ever had. Like, I can't even explain how bad it was compared to the other ones. It was like super, super painful. Like, my guts were spasming. I don't even know how to explain it. It was never that bad before. And it wasn't just left-sided like it usually is. It was like the whole thing. So I finally got my own room, and they put me on IV steroids. So they take me off the pills that my doctor put me on and just put me on IV instead. And I'm hoping that that's gonna work. And then a couple days go by and nothing has changed. And then one day I became friends with the girl that was sharing the room with me because she was around the same age. We were gone for a walk in the hallways, and one of the nurses comes up to me and he's like, I need to take you back to your room. And I'm like, okay, is everything okay? And he's like, one of your tests came back positive. You're positive for C.Diff, so we need to make sure you're wearing gloves and one of the yellow gowns. And I was like, oh my god, I'm so embarrassed right now. Like, I was so embarrassed. I'm pretty sure when they brought me back, they shut the curtains and I just bawled my eyes out because I was overwhelmed and I wasn't expecting that. I didn't know. I was like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. I didn't know. They're like, oh, we know. We know you didn't know. We didn't know either. So, but yeah, it was pretty embarrassing. And then anytime somebody would come into my room, they'd have to wear gloves and the yellow gown. It's precaution, but it was like I could hear someone coming into my room, but then I'd hear them like have to put gloves on, have to put the gown on before they can come see me. So I'm glad that's over. But so then they were gonna put me on Humira because I was on Remicade last year. I wasn't on anything after the Remicade to be like a medication that would have kept me from flaring up, but I honestly don't know if anything would have changed the situation because of when I caught C. diff. I'm thinking I caught C. diff from the hospital in January when they just threw prednisone at me and were like, yeah, good luck. So yeah, me and my parents and everybody else who I've talked to, even some nurses that I know, were like, yeah, you probably caught the C. diff at some point, maybe in January, maybe even, but I was like, no, there's no way I caught it just now and it's just affecting me now, because I was sick for a couple weeks with whatever it did to me, because I've never been that sick before. Even mono, God, I was really tired with mono, but it was nothing compared to this. So what they told me was it was like a regular colitis flare on top of C. diff. So they did a first scope, and I had to tell them to stop because it hurt that bad and I was that inflamed. And they didn't use the smallest camera on me. And they also didn't give me much sedatives. They didn't give me the strongest sedative they could have. So I was like, no, I can't. Like, I was in so much pain. I was like, I can't do the whole thing. They're like, okay, well, are you okay at least if we take some biopsies? And I was like, yeah, as long as you're coming, getting out, like, get out. As long as you're leaving, then take your biopsies. And so yeah, they did the first scope. That's before they found out about the C. diff, I think. The biopsies might have told them I had C. diff. I'm not sure if a stool sample did or if the scope did, but it was at least a day or two after the scope happened that they found out about it. So they could have just been waiting for results. So basically, yeah, I was on IV steroids and fluids because when I came in I was dehydrated. I should have written this down because it's gonna be like, my mind is just like, but I want to get it out and like onto film so I can like remember it, tell people if they watch this, then they know I'm alive still. But yeah, IV steroids and fluids, and then they took me off fluids because I was peeing a lot. So I was like, okay, hydration wise. So the results for C. diff come back. Oh, and then they put me on vancomycin. Is that what it's called? It's like just this antibiotic, and I was looking up C. diff like crazy, which I probably shouldn't have been doing when I was like really sick in the hospital. But yeah, way to make yourself like freak out, because yeah, I should not have been on Google and seeing all the death rates and stuff for C. diff was kind of scary to look at. 1 in 10, which is kind of scary. But so yeah, they gave me Vamco, and then they put me on IV Flagyl. The Vamco was just an oral pill that I took like 3 or 4 times a day, and the Flagyl, oh my god, it made me so sick. I don't think I ever threw up, but I got close a couple times. And they would always give it to me around when I would eat, which sucked, because it's like, can you at least let me eat and then give it to me? Because I even did mention it to a couple nurses who were really nice to me. And they're like, yeah, I'll give it to you after, because it usually seemed to help when I had like something in my stomach before they did it. You think it'd be the other way around, but my body's weird like that, I guess. So they had me on 3 antibiotics because I ended up getting thrush. So 3 antibiotics for a week. And that was around 3 days after I got there. And then the IV steroids. And then more fluids. Because I kept going so much that I was dehydrating myself. Everything they were giving me was going right through me. I was going like 15, 20 times a day. Yeah, around that. I say at least 12 on average. And this was after the antibiotics and everything. It should have cleared stuff up, but it didn't. And they came back one day and they were like, so we can't do the Humira anymore because this is killing you. Like, you can die from this, and we think it's best if you take out your colon, because at this point there's nothing we can do with the C.Diff and your colitis. It's a complicated case, and yeah, basically they were like, you have to agree to take your colon out, and if you don't, you're just gonna get more sick and die. So yeah. So after looking up C.Diff and then hearing that, I'm still not over that. I'm still not over that. And then they're like, I was like, okay, so does that mean you're gonna have to like cut me open, or can you do it with like laparoscope? I was hoping they could do it laparoscope, but they were like, no, yours is like an emergency. Now that we know what's going on, yours is an emergency surgery. So yeah, the surgeons came and talked to me. A nurse, a stoma nurse, I think you call them. She came and like felt muscles in my stomach and made me cough and stuff to see where a good spot was for it. And then, yeah, the surgeons came and talked to me, and they're like, are you sure you want to do this? And I'm thinking, no. I never said that. Why would you want your colon out? Why? Yes, I totally want you to do this. No. I was freaking out. I was crying, trying not to cry, but crying, you know, like that whole, sure, you know. But I was like, I guess I'm gonna have to say yes, because you have to tell them yes. What else are you supposed to say to them? So fast forward to another couple days. I didn't think it would take so long, but if someone comes to the emergency room and is dying, they're before me. That's just how it goes. So I had to wait for an opening, even though it was an emergency. So I waited like 2 days, I think it was. And yeah, and then after that, I don't remember a couple days. I was on ketamine and Dilaudid, because when I woke up, they kept asking me how I felt, and I was like, I'm in a lot of pain. I'm in like a lot of pain. Like, scale of 1 to 10, and I just kept saying 8, 9, 8, 9, 10, 8, 9, 8, 9, 10, I don't know, something like that. It hurts. I've never been opened up before, so yeah, it hurt. So yeah, I don't remember the first couple days. And one doctor told me that I got sick to my stomach. I don't remember that. Another person told me I lost a lot of blood. I also don't remember that. And then the next day they tried to get me walking, and I was like, I can't. I did, but I was like, no. I think I ripped a stitch that day too. I understand why they want to get you walking, but it's like, does it have to be that soon? I still don't even know what's going on or what my last name is. Like, I don't remember it. I only remember it because they made me get up, and that sucked. Like, that's when I started to remember things. And then I was in for 7 days after the surgery. And then April 2nd I got the surgery, so April 9th I came home. I think it was the 9th or 10th. And then tomorrow will be 6 weeks, I think. So I know that's scattered and there's a lot of me pausing, and I probably won't edit this. I'm just gonna throw it up because why not? That's what I do. I don't even know if people watch these, but I wanted to make a video because I figured it would help just talking about it. I've talked about it like with a couple friends, but I haven't really gone anywhere since the surgery. Like, I talk to people over Messenger and stuff. I've probably driven like 3 times. The furthest I've gone is like the pharmacy. It feels uncomfortable still. Even sitting like this feels weird. At first I couldn't even get up the stairs. My legs were like so messed up from laying for weeks in a bed. But I got that back. Like, I can get up and stuff okay. The only thing that's really hard is like if I kneel down on my knees and then when I get back up, my core is no good still. Like, I still need to, because the muscles still haven't completely healed, so. But yeah, I'm alive. I don't know what to do for work, because I lost my job in January. I've been sick since then, which is crazy. It's not my first time, but yeah, on the 17th I have an appointment with my family doctor, and I'm gonna get her to do some blood tests because I'm still pretty tired, and I feel like I shouldn't be this tired, but maybe that's normal, I don't know. My thing too is dry skin. I don't know what that's from. That could be from prednisone, but I've never had skin this dry before. I did experience a partial blockage a couple weeks ago, but that cleared up, so I'm okay now. I just have to like make sure that's one thing about the ileostomy, is you have to make sure you're chewing extra. Like, you think you chewed enough, you should probably chew some more because you don't want to end up in pain and with a blockage. And I didn't want to go back to the emergency room so soon after getting out of the hospital. And I probably should have, but I never ended up getting sick. So I was stubborn like I usually am and just toughed it out. But that was like 5 days of being in pain. So next time I will be going to the hospital. Hopefully there is no next time. So yeah. I'm alive. I can't say I'm well. I'm here. That's the most important part, is I'm here to tell my story. I could probably make another video at some point. But for now, I still have yet to see anybody because they want me to talk to a psychologist. Something to do with PTSD because the situation I went through and the fact that I came out with two less organs if you count the appendix. Yeah. So, thanks for watching if you did. Shitty situation, haha, no puns intended. But what matters is I'm alive, and hopefully this moon face will be gone soon. But until next time, say bye to Moonface Sarah. Alright, for real. Bye.